Welcome back to American Agenda. What I want to do here today is just kind of sympathize with all of you coming out of the holidays. That was expensive, wasn't it? And I get it. It stinks. Inflation, it stinks. If you want to provide for your family the same type of Christmas or Hanukkah, whatever it is you celebrate, you had to either spend more or you had to cut back. And I'll take it a step further. You're probably having to do this with your life and spending habits pretty much in general. Amongst other things, that's the legacy of the Biden administration. It is gross inflation. Haven't seen levels like this in more than 40 years, according to the data. I know you can spit out any numbers you want. And yes, the inflation rate, it has come down, but the damage, everybody's already been done. So when you think of the state of the economy, economic state, I know that is what is on top of everyone's mind. If you're young, you're wondering how you're going to buy that first house you had your eye on, right? But you can't afford it anymore. If you pay rent, you've probably had to move recently because the rates, they went up and priced you out. If you're a little older, you're on a budget, you're scaling way back and wondering, did I save enough money to get through your retirement? Oh, looks a little different now, I bet. So when you bring up the economy, it's inflation. Well, thank God now we have a president coming into office who thinks the same thing. Trump said that yesterday.
When I think of our economy, I think about inflation. That's what we have. We have inflation, I believe, at a level that we never had before. There's never been anything like it.
You know, I've heard him say that. There's never been anything like it. And so here's some of the data comparing Biden to Trump's presidency on inflation. Inflation has been far worse during the Biden administration. You all know this, up 20.1% over the first 45 months for Biden compared to 7.1% during Trump's first 45 months. But I got to ask you this, doesn't it feel worse than that? You know, at the beginning of this, I was just talking about buying a home, paying rent, surviving retirement. What about putting food on the table, the basics? It's expensive, especially if you want to buy the good stuff, like I said, like quality meats, produce, not junk out of a box.
Food, bacon, ham, apples, everything has gone through the roof. It's one of the reasons I won.
Now, here's what some of that stuff cost after this administration. Here's the 5-year change, everybody. Food and beverages, 29%. Housing, 29%. Fuel, utilities, 28%. Services, 27%. Transportation, 27%. That's more than 20%. But that's just across those broad spectrum of industries. Experience says some specific products, they are up way higher. Uncooked roast beefs, 49%. Margarine, cook your food, 51%. Frozen juices and drinks up 47%. Beef and veal, the stuff you actually really want to get, 45%. You see, those products aren't just up 20%. They're approaching 50%. And how do you keep up? It's pretty hard to do. Some economists will point and say, oh, well, we're going to get the inflation rate down to normal again. But how are Americans supposed to make up the gap? Average wages do not pace like that. Most employers give their employees an increase of around 3% per year. So over the course of 4 years, most Americans, they are making 12% more now, not 20%, and certainly not the 50% you need to really buy what you want. Like I said, it stinks. And you see, when you lay all of that out, you have to either find a way to make more money or prices have to start coming down, deflation, and that is tough. A lot of people in this current administration don't seem to grasp that. But Trump talked about it yesterday down at Mar-a-Lago. He believes it can be done. Not going to be easy, especially given the fact that some of his plans are just absolutely being railroaded by Biden and company on his way out.
We are inheriting a difficult situation from the outgoing administration, and they're trying everything they can to make it more difficult. Inflation is continuing to rage, and interest rates are far too high. It's always hard to bring down prices when somebody else has screwed something up like they did, but we'll bring them down. We'll get them down. Energy is going to bring down prices. We're going to have a lot of energy, and energy is what brought it up. Energy and their bad spending is what brought it up, and energy is going to bring it down. We're going to have prices down. I think you're going to see some pretty drastic price reductions.